Meeting open. Vijaya Teachers College Bangalore. Marathi number. Sir Praveen Kumar, sir, good morning. Sir Praveen Kumar, sir, good morning. This is Raj Kumar, sir.
Sir, good morning. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir, few minutes, sir, we will start soon, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
செல்வகுமார் சார், ப்ரொஃபசர் வந்துட்டாரா? கணேசன் சார். அன்பழகன் சார்.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir,
Good
please.
evening.
Sir, Jnana Prakasam will introduce the resource person, sir.
Sir. Okay. Shall I start, sir?
Muthuswamy, sir. Sir, Muthuswamy, sir. Muthuswamy, sir, are you there? Okay, sir. Anbalagan, sir, please proceed.
Very good morning. I am Dr. Anbalagan, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Theology College Professor, organized secretary this program. This treats every one of you in the 5th day, 1 week international virtual by Tamil Nadu Teacher English University, Chennai, in collaborate with Vijaya College Professor and Education, where about the training. In this joint
வந்துட்டாரு சார்.
வந்துட்டார் சார்.
ரிசோர்ஸ் பர்சன் இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷன் தான் சார் போயிட்டு இருக்கு.
சார் ஓகே. பெங்களூரு யூனிவர்சிட்டி தானே?
விஜயா டீச்சர்ஸ் காலேஜ் பெங்களூர் சார்.
நான் சொல்லிடுவேன் முதல்ல.
ஓகே சார்.
இன்வைட் பண்ணிடுறேன்.
ஓகே சார்.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே சார். Proceed, sir.
ஓகே சார் ப்ளீஸ்.
Okay. Good morning. This is the fifth day, today is the fifth day of our seminar. So we invite the another presenter. Is a well in India because pedagogical its meaning is technology. So thanks to all the committee members because we received the correct presenters and correct resource person, given all these things to the delegates. Because the Venkateshwar, he is come from Karnataka, Bengaluru. Then I wholeheartedly invited on behalf of our Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University and on behalf of our Vijaya College of Perspectives and then Saurashtra College of Education. So today is on a leave, but otherwise we are a person to be given the input to the delegates. So it is a wonderful thing because your presentations here is also very, very wonderful. So you are a apt person to given this idea or decision or whatever in your presentation. You've given all these things to our delegates. Our delegates all the delegates are very eager to hearing what. I thank you your presentation here on all the participants, on all the coordinators of this seminar. Okay, thank you, Anada.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor. Now I formally introduce our chief guest, Mr. Praveen Kumar, Dr. Praveen. Now I introduce his valuable. I introduce him. So he has a wonderful professor. He has conducted many projects. So he conducted a project in UNESCO Subhash series, and our innovative professor published many chapters in various books, and he has published a book Adunkya Kannada Sadhya. The article is Samikta Lokadrusti Raidha Sahitya. And another ICSSR national seminar, he published an article Usage of ICT, a special reference to the impact of social media on the academic achievement of B.Ed student teachers. And he has published a chapter in the book of BET First Gate College International Conference, Kannada, and the topic on the article on the topic Kannada Sahitya Oza Telimarinia Baragavya Mudya Noma Vidya Sahitya. I'm sorry. Okay, good. And he has published in very famous journals in both the national and international. and he has published a journal in a journal of Roots International Journal of Multidisciplinary Resources, and Karunya International Journal of Research in Humanities, Arts and Science, Bodhi International Journal of Research in Humanities, Arts and Science, Sandlax International Journal of Commerce, and Janavashini Multidisciplinary Research Journal, and Wesleyan Journal of Research UCG Care this journal, and Kala Sarovar
a major area. So that's why I have to say thanks and congratulations to the organizers. So first, I want to start my session with a few images. Okay, so no, if anybody, what exactly this image is going to say. So why I have selected this? So I think the sir said that there is a student teachers are there in a conference. So you have to be more and more interact in this session. So let me know that what is your guess regarding this exact image. Unmute yourself and please let me know that answer.
Sir, excuse me, sir. It is still in the pedagogical innovations screen, sir. We cannot see the picture actually.
Sir, kindly maximize your PPT, sir.
Now?
Not yet, sir.
Just a minute. I think the screen is visible now.
Yeah, it's going on, sir. Sir, kindly maximize it,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Please completely maximize, sir.
Else,
Is it visible to all?
Yes,
The
sir.
participants? Yeah. Okay, this image, can
Professor
you
Ganesan,
guess
sir,
what exactly
sir,
it is
please.
saying? In which context you can define this image?
Professor Ganesan, sir. Sir, kindly stop share your screen, sir. Praveen, sir, can you do once again, sir?
Okay, you start, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Praveen sir. You know,
Yes, sir.
you go ahead.
I will share.
You are a skilled person. You know, already I told you, you are a skilled person. You well known all these things. So, what we want means the technology. You know, pedagogical is not always
Be there in a students. So for this, definitely there will be a drawback from the teacher end as well as the student end. So if the students are more and more open up to the e-gadgets, definitely they can more and more concentrate towards that e-classes. If the teachers are more and more adaptable, the new technology and done effective communication, effective classroom transaction. So from the two ends, as the teacher end and as well as the student end, we have to give a more importance for the e-gadgets, that is the e-tools, that is technological tools in this present situation. So that's why we have to remove and we have to avoid this type of dilemma situations which has been going to rise in a student mind. If we are intending to remove that dilemmas, the teacher has to be more and more competent enough with using that digital tools. So that is the major idea of today's session. So in the previous day, it was the Blackboard classroom. Now it is an online classroom that you already know. So now we are going to connect with that, how the past and how the present and how will be the future. So this is the three things. So each and every minute we are getting a new experiences. And we cannot say that and we cannot predict that the classes things will be goes on in a future like this. Because for that, the major example is what we are suffering from that COVID, because we never expected that COVID will be coming and our classroom and our education system will be going to using the digital teaching. That will be helpful for the students to be in a safer mode and to gain a great knowledge by this online teaching. In a future, definitely what importance we have given for the online class in a present situation, that thing will definitely goes on and keep on updating some more information. So that's why the open and flexible access to the device will be get more and more opportunity in the future. So for that, we are going to prepare our students to based on to become a techno-savvy students. So that too, the teacher education institution has taken a great initiative to develop their students' teacher to become a techno-savvy. Because when we are using a more and more technology, some people will say that if we are using technology, we cannot have a commission, cannot have that much of bonding with the students. So no, I will not at all agree how much technological tools you are using and how you are integrating those tools in between your classroom transaction and how you are
Praveen, sir.
interacting with your students by using these all are the tools. Yes, sir.
Sorry for the interruption. Your slide is not moving.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, it's audible, sir, but your slide is not moving. And kindly put it on slideshow mode, sir.
Yes, sir. It's slideshow only.
It's not visible, sir. It is it's showing in a very small size only.
Now is it changed, sir?
Not yet, sir. And your slide also not moving, sir.
Just a minute. Now is it visible, sir?
Please wait, sir.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, fine, sir.
Now?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it is visible now.
Yeah. Please check me. Please let me know whether it is moving or not.
Okay.
Sir, it's in the slides and future, sir, and it's not moving. Like we couldn't see the change, sir.
So this is a slide, actual slide. Now I'm going to move that slide. Please let me know that whether it is going to be changed in your screen
Yes.
or not.
Yes, please, sir.
Okay, sir. We will alert and we will inform you whether the slide is moving or not continuously. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay. So here we are talking about that why the ICT tools and the digital tools are more and more important for the student teachers and also teacher educators. Because when the student teachers are going to their regular teaching practices, and that time they have to make use of so many freely available tools for the sake of that their student better understanding. So that is why we are saying that there is a open and flexible access to the devices. Because a few more years, definitely we can say that our classroom will become iPod classrooms. Okay, so for that, we the teacher should always get ready with that ICT weapons. So we have to fulfill the needs of the 21st century students, because the 21st century students' needs and expectations are differ from 20th century. So that's why we are there in a competitive world, and we have to gain and we have to know so many things related to that information and communication technology in the field of education. Okay, so that is the thing. So this is the actual image what we are observing in the present situation. So there is a similarity between both the images. Okay, so image is visible.
Sir, your slide is not moving, sir.
Visible, sir.
Okay, it is
Not moving, sir.
Sir, it is not moving.
When you are sharing your screen, please use the option of entire screen. That will help.
Yeah, it's fine, sir.
Yes, sir, now
Okay,
it is
I did-
moving, sir.
Now it's
Okay.
moving, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this
sir.
is a
Thank you.
classroom situation. So in the coming days also we can expect and we cannot expect these type of classroom. And there is similarities between both the classrooms. And come to the next image. We come to the next image. In that next image also it is can be considered as a classroom, the personal classroom, by using e-gadgets. What we were doing in the previous images, that is going on in their home itself by using the e-gadget. So here is also there is a similarities. So when we are there in a classroom situation or we are there in an online teaching, there is a commonalities. There is a commonalities. Just you can observe the image, okay? In that image, it is completely showing that there is a teacher interaction with the students, and there is a pupil, that is a student's participation in the classroom. So that was happening in the previous class. Somebody will say that this is not at all happening in present situation, but it is completely wrong. The teachers are going to make more and more effort to make their teaching more and more effective. So I think all the teachers, they are doing well beyond their limitation, because they know that what is their ICT limitation, but exceptionally they are avoiding that limitations, and they are going to do effective classroom and effective things in their online classroom. Why I am giving this background? Because now we are there in an online teaching, okay, that and also online learning. So if the online teaching has to become more and more effective, the teacher should adopt some of the new and innovative ideas. If the online learning should be a good learning or the effective learning, the student should actively participate in that online teaching. Okay, so that's why the classroom, that is a traditional classroom, is completely the traditional classroom and as well as the online classroom is completely different. Okay, so but the process of the classroom is same, but the usage of the devices, usage of the materials, and usage of the things are going to be changed in the online classes. That's what we can identify. Then based on that identification, we the teacher educators and as well as the student teachers, you should always go and explore many more freely available tools which will be helpful for you to communicate with your students effectively. Okay, so this is the buzzword which we can identify and which we can hear in the present situation. So the flipped classroom, hybrid classroom, blended classroom, these are the new terminologies what we were continuously listening in nowadays. Okay, so when there was a conventional way of teaching, now we are there in a tradition, online teaching, and based the combine of these two things, we are calling it is as a blended learning. Okay, so that blended learning and the flipped learning is more and more effective when we are using ICT and when we are using that technology based classroom in our regular teaching. So that is the important thing. So when we are talking about this, we have to first think about that how that learning process will be happens in a classroom, because today's topic is digital pedagogy. Today's topic is digital pedagogy. You know that. Before talking about that pedagogy, we have to analyze how the classroom structure will be or how the classroom structures are. Okay, so based on that classroom structure, we are going to know about that how that digital pedagogy can be implemented in our regular classrooms and how we can make plan for that adaptation of the digital pedagogy. So this is the two major ideas which we are going to know in some after some few minutes. So before that, just I am giving you from where we have to cope up ourselves, from where we have to start the digital pedagogy. Before understanding, without understanding of the classroom learning process, definitely we cannot initiate the digital pedagogy. So that is the one major idea what I have it before, behind my presentation. It is very easy to say that digital pedagogy, but when we are going to define that digital pedagogy, it is highly impossible, and we have to give a complete one framework and a structure for the digital pedagogy by analyzing all these information. So when we are talking about that classroom process, that is a learning process, there will be a teacher and there will be a student. and you know that. So when the teacher is interacting with the student, some learning will happen in between that interaction, and in that interaction, some new knowledge can be acquired by the learners. Okay, the teacher will be there and the student will be there. Between the teacher and student, there will be some interactions, some discussions, and some activities. So many learning process activities happen. Through that activities, the learner can. But here there will be a question. The teacher is interacting and students also participating, and somewhere else the learning will happen from the ends of a student. But where is the place for the digital tool? So here, between the teacher and student, there is a process. Now, on the exact point, we have to inculcate that digital tools. Okay, so by using the digital tools, we can make our students more and more interested towards our class, and the teacher also actively there as a part of the curriculum. So we have to give a concentrate on that syllabus. Okay, so I'm not at all going to explain that there is a what is the difference between the curriculum and syllabus. The syllabus is a part of the curriculum that I think you all are know about that. So that syllabus have prescribed. So based on that syllabus, the teacher should adopt some of the pedagogies. Okay, so why that pedagogy has to be adopted? Okay, so the pedagogy, the goji means will only says that it is a systematic way. According to that, when the teacher is to transact that curriculum, or when the teacher is going to transact that syllabus content, the teacher has to follow some of the major effective methods. So that methods include pedagogy. So by using that pedagogy, if the teacher completed their transaction, definitely the assessment has to be done by the teacher end. So that has to be an actual task which has to be done by the teacher in the classroom, either in the face-to-face classroom or in the online classroom. There is a big scope for the students to participate, how they can use that so many usable and free tools for the sake of that assessment. So that the tool, regular classroom, that has to be done. Okay, here there is a hidden agenda. Okay, as a teachers, as a students, so what questions we should ask ourselves? Is it question is very essential for the teachers and students? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, okay. I think you are a teacher educator or a student teacher? Those who said answer.
Student teacher, sir.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. As a student teacher or a teacher educator, what question we should ask ourselves? You said that the asking question is very much important. To ask ourselves first, that is where we are. The first question what we ask is where we are. And the second question we have to ask ourselves, irrespective of a student and the teacher. We have to ask these three questions. So for these three questions, there is actually education system. Even in NEP 2020 also given on importance for the online teaching. And you know that the MHRD continuously releasing so many orders regarding that. Yes, the online teaching should be there. 40% of the courses should be transferred through the online mode. So these are the things that we know that definitely we have to know much more information regarding this 21st century pedagogy, because I already conveyed that message. Pedagogy is nothing but the way of teaching, the way of the method of teaching. Okay, so when you are doing that teaching, when you are there in a teaching profession, you have to develop different thinking skills. Okay, so if you are going to if you have in the pedagogy, the teacher will provide a complete and centric class. Students can consider their own knowledge. And the pedagogy will provide the opportunity for the student learning. Definitely, if there is 6 members in a group, so all the 6 members don't have a same opinion. So they will express their opinion and they will dig it out and they will find out that which is a proper one and which is a suitable one. So as like that, they are going with the inquiry, and lastly they are going with the integrative mode, and finally they will reflect on their own teaching, whether it is suitable to my students or not. The tools, ICT tools, if we are talking about that, the online teaching, simply selecting a few tools and we are using it in between the classroom, it is not an online classroom. So we have to know that in which context that exact ICT tool will be helpful. What is the nature and scope of that ICT tool? So based on that nature and scope, we have to define that. Because the teacher, those who are willing to adopt the digital pedagogy in their, they should know each and every corner of that digital pedagogy. Because simply we can say that the usage of the different ICT tools in the class, it is digital pedagogy. Yes, I will accept with that general meaning. But when we come to the adaptation and application of the digital, definitely the teacher has to spread their hands towards many information, and they have to gather and they have to collect information. See, the system connectivity information should be there. The system means you can go with the device system or you can go with the curriculum system. That should be with the pedagogy. And the student information system will be there in that pedagogy. Okay, the each and every student, how they are interacting and how they are with that learning. So all these things will be there in a digital learning. So the special education can be fulfilled by the digital education. For that one word that is called assistive technology. I think you all are familiar with that word, assistive technology. For the sake of the inclusiveness of the education, using that assistive technology. And the resource management will also be there in a digital pedagogy. And discovery mode will be different from the previous actions. So the content will be communicated in a proper way. So if you have a confusion with content communication, definitely you can easily identify many more ways how you can connect and how you can communicate with the students with usage of a different modes or different digital platforms, so which will be helpful for my students to understand, and so that can be easily identified through this thing. And learning analytics and personalized learning and learning platform. So these components will directly contributing to the digital pedagogy, because the digital pedagogy adaptive teacher should always more and more keen observer of the digital advancements. Okay, and they should have a great theoretical background for the pedagogy. So that is the one thing. So the essential objectives for the education technology. Why I have used that education technology word? Because when we are talking about the digital pedagogy have a base of that technology. So technology is there, pedagogy is there. Both the things we are blending on in the field of education. So that's why that education technology also connected with the which thing, that is the concept of digital pedagogy. Educational technology, the tools and the devices which we are for the sake of that classroom transaction, that can be considered as education technology. It may be an iPod, it may be some of the hardwares, whatever it may be. Okay, so it's related to that technology itself. So the technological idea can be incorporated. Okay. So this is the teaching with technology. Now we are on the line of to come to reach the digital pedagogy, analyze that classroom situation. Somewhere else we have touched with the teaching, and the teaching will be helpful with the taking a help of the technology. We are moving one step forward, that is teaching with technology. So in a classroom, the student will be there, instructor will be there, the teacher will be there. Okay, so the teacher will be there and the content will be there. So by including these components, we are adopting the technology. So the teacher is using the technology for the sake of the student. Why they are using and the content. So this is the connectivity we can definitely identify in a classroom. See, observe the teacher using the technology. Okay, the technology to transact through the content for the sake of student. So this is a one way of communication. You can do it another way. The teacher using the technology for the sake of the student to complete that content. So it will be in a process, or it will be in a zigzag process. So that can be happens in a in the classroom that learn. So that is a whether you are using a technology or not. So that technology using teaching will always connected with the content and as well as the instructor. So based on these three major components, we are using the technology. So when the technology we are saying, we have to know the technology and the users of technology. When we are talking about the instructor, we have to know that what is the role of the teacher in a digital pedagogy and what are the technical skills the teacher imbibe and the time availability of the teachers to make use of that all the tools which the teacher knows. Okay, and the learning style is differ from student to student. To according to that learning styles, the teacher has to make use of some of the digital tools which will be helpful for the classroom transaction. Okay, so this is the connective thing and connective information which we should know adopting that digital pedagogy. Okay, so the technology has made learning easy, interactive, and interesting. Will you all agree? Technology has made learning easy, interactive, and interesting. Will you agree with this? Yes, if you are saying yes, can you give a simple example from your end, being a student teachers? A simple example. How you are proving with this statement? So you are also
teacher teach the lesson when students learning is easy or interesting and teacher interact with the student answer the questions. That's all.
Okay, so you have said that process. Yes, exactly. That is a suitable. So I am saying that I am connecting with that. So all our student teachers, you in a 3 months or 4 months period, we were there in a lockdown period, but university suggested us to go with the online classes. If we the teachers doesn't aware about that, the technology, can we able to communicate with you people that content which the university has prescribed? Definitely not. Okay, so we have analyzed the situation and adopted some of the technological ideas to convey the information to you people in an easy way. In between that, we acted with you people how much you have understood. Okay, there is no barrier for us when we are using this type of technology, showing that instantly. So where exactly the teacher needs some of the examples, the teacher can search some of the suitable examples pages, and they are going to display and played in a classroom situation. So that will create a more and more interest in a student. Technology definitely enhance that learning capability with the students and the teacher competency, teaching competency also through the technology. So the technology is always helping to the teachers with the thing. So put out that the word digital pedagogy. So there is a paragraph. Pedagogy is essentially a critical thinking. Simply teaching, it is not a pedagogy. So when you are using that pedagogy, some critical thinking should be happens. Okay, some critical thinking should be happening. It should be always beyond the classroom and out of the textbook. So if there is a thing, definitely that can be considered as a pedagogy. If there is no critical thinking, not at all a pedagogy, just it is a general teaching. Okay, so exercise directed at learning and teaching. Pedagogy asks us, this is important, to never teach by rote. Never teach by rote. Don't give a importance for the remembering. Know that the objective is revise Bloom's or taxonomy. So the first objective is remembering. So we, the teacher educator, always we are telling you people that remembering objectives. You have to give more and more higher order objectives. So that digital pedagogy always expect that higher objective, which is the higher order objective, that we will come to that next slide also. Okay, so never teach by the root, because top to bottom we have to go with the higher order idea, and we have to dissect that, and we have to simplify that. Student, yes, I have know this realistic knowledge, this is the concrete and abstract knowledge should be connected with the students while you are teaching. Never assume the use of simply we are standing near that podium and simply giving a lecture on the content. So it is not at all a task of the teacher. Not give a root learning, and you should not stick on to the podium, and you should not stick on to that overhead projectors and the PPTs and other things. Okay, we are there in a classroom, we should provide a free space for the students to think about the content. Okay, so when I said that don't use the PPT, so that when you are using a PPT, you should be more and more appropriately and creatively you can PPT, which will be create interest in students. Okay, that is very much important. So this says, okay, the teacher will be innovative, had a innovative idea to implement in their regular classroom is can be called as that pedagogy. So today you have to know the pedagogy is not a general teaching. That pedagogy will always give a importance to the critical thinking, always set higher order objective, and it makes the teachers and as well as students to more and more active. So if there is a situation, they can definitely say that my teacher is using pedagogy. Okay, okay, and I am not at all going to give elaborated idea here. So the same thing has been repeated here. So the digital in a teacher, okay, here teacher end and here is a learner end. So always the educator and the students will be an interactor in the classroom. So when there is a classroom, so before communicating with the students, the teacher should have some of the digital competence. Okay, so when I'm going with that face-to-face transaction, I will prepare my lesson plan. I will prepare some of the points, and with all I am entering to the class. So now we are not there in a general classroom. We are there in an online classroom. There also the teacher should have competency. If any mistake happens in between the usage of the digital tools, they have to rectify, and they should know about that, how to resolve that. Okay, so that type of competency that teacher should have, because when my presentation struck somewhere else, the slide was not at one teacher suggested me that, sir, you can go with that entire screen. So this knowledge, we can say it as a digital. Okay, so wherever we are stucking with using that digital tools in the classroom, we the teacher should know that how we can clear and how those are the information. So that should be there in a teacher. If you have a digital competent, then your professional growth will be high and high. So in the classroom, the teaching learning will happen. Okay, and the teacher is going to empower the students by using technology, and the teacher is providing the resources through the digital mode, and the teacher is going to assess the students through the digital. All the things will happen through the digital mode. So that's why it is we can call it as the digital pedagogy. So that the interaction digital way, the student empowerment is going through the digital way, and the resources which is going to provide by the teacher, that is also a digital resource. Assessment is going through based on the digital tools. So that's why the teacher can easily adopt the digital in the classroom. So when the teacher is adopting these digital tools or digital pedagogy, what are the things can be helpful? So the teacher is facilitating the learners. Teacher is not teaching. There is I think you know that there is a difference between the teaching and the facilitating. This is the one way. You are using the word facilitator. The teacher is a facilitator. The teacher will provide the space for the students to interact, and the teacher will be a supportive desk for the students to learn the new things in the classroom. So that type of facilitative situation given by the teacher when the teacher have enough digital competency, so they can ready a high, they can induce in the communication with the student, and they can create skills which the student can create the content. So all these things may happen from the student end when the teacher is more and more competent using the digital tools in the classroom. So that is the thing. We are directly related to the digital pedagogy. This is a simple definition, the definition or the meaning which related to the digital pedagogy. Digital pedagogy as the required changes in design education. This is very much important. When you are talking about that required changes, you have to compare present education system with the previous education system, and has there any changes, how that changes happens, and how the student adopted with that new changes, and how the teacher adjusted with that new changes. So all these, by we can easily identify that we are there in a digital pedagogy mode, and accommodate the evaluation of design of knowledge. How that knowledge you are going to provide to the student. Okay, so simply you are posting the PPT slide and just out the information. It is not knowledge design. Okay, so in which design means when the artwork we are going to make some of the design. Why we are making those design? To attract the viewers and to give a good outlook for that artistic representation. So that's why we are using a design. Here also identifying, and we are going to give an opportunity for the students to develop their knowledge, okay, to construct their knowledge, and that time use some of the design. Okay, so that design is nothing but digital pedagogy. So what design we are using? It is digital pedagogy. Advanced technology. If I want to engage my student, how I can engage? I want to probe my students to dig the information or to collect the content, how I can involve my student by using these advanced. All these things should be known by the teacher. So that's why the design of the teaching, which based can be considered as digital pedagogy. So digital pedagogy is nothing but according to the situational classroom communication, according to or based on the objective of the classroom, what type of technological tools we are using. That is called as digital pedagogy. So this is the 5 structure. This is a 5 done in the classroom. So build a structure. So if we are using the digital pedagogy, we have to class and we have to structure our class which helpful for our digital classroom. And from the digital pedagogy, we can say that there is a and more learning, because there is a in-depth knowledge, there is a scope for to learn the in-depth knowledge of the content. Okay, sometimes if we are providing the in-depth knowledge of the content, definitely we cannot complete the syllabus. Definitely I will agree, but the teacher should know that where exactly I strict, for that learning. Okay, tell a story. Okay, tell a story means you can use the tools which will be helpful for the transaction. So for example, we have a storyboard, we have a storyline. Okay, so you have a the voice over recording option, screen recording option. Okay, so there are so many tools, that Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic. Okay, there are so many tools, there are so many screen recorder things will be there, so that will be helpful for you to convey that content in the way of story. And visual treat will be there. So where exactly necessary that visual TLMs, visual materials, the teacher can show digital pedagogy, and the teacher can also conduct, because you know that if how many of you know that there is a one activity in a Zoom, that is breakout rooms. Okay, as like that we conduct that student group activity, and that breakout room will always helpful for the teachers to make be sit in a group and communicate each other related to that content. So that type of activities that type of so many activities are there, initiate and you can adopt in your teaching. That will also helpful. Okay, so when we are talking about the digital pedagogical dimensions, so embodied learning will be there, because the teacher will completely and physically part with the creative ideas. Okay, that is a one component. And we can provide the experiential learning. If you are you have a well structured digital pedagogical plan, definitely you can provide the experiential learning, and you can provide the complete thinking. Okay, so here we are using the digital literacy. You know that at present situation, whom we can call it as a illiterate, those who don't know that ICT usage, ICT access, then we can call it as a illiterates. But if you know the ICT tools, definitely digital educator. And we can adopt that blended learning. And finally, the main concentration, that is an important word which now the more and more spreading all over the world, that is gamification. The learning should always gamify. Simply conveying a message is not a learning. The simply conveying information is not a teaching. The student should enjoy that. So that's why you have to provide that gamification situation for the learners. So by going to give an introduction and the procedure and gamification, again we have to organize one more workshop. Okay, so that much of information and effectiveness we have find out from the gamification. Okay, so all these will be helpful for the digital pedagogy teachers, so they can do all these things. Okay, this is the key steps for pedagogy building. So the first thing, know your curriculum, including the general capabilities. First, you should know about the curriculum, what you have. Okay, what chapter I have. Then, based on that chapter, what pedagogical practices use. For example, when we come to the biological science, we will say that there is a structural function approach. There is a thing, the biological teacher. When we come to the student social science, we will say that there is a role play and there is a jurisprudential inquiry model. When we come to the mathematics education, we have that synthetic analytics and synthetic approach. When we come to the language side, we have that one more thing, that is illustration with that is inductive deductive approach. See, for the nature and scope of that each content. Okay, so from the nature, based on the nature and scope of the each, we are seeing some of the approaches. Okay, so when we are taking, for example, I will give you. So when you are going with that synthetic approach in a mathematics, so you have a theorems. You have to prove that theorems. Okay, so from the theorems, you will go with the synthetic approach. So on that time, what digital tool I can use? Whether the GeoGebra will be helpful, you can make use of it. Okay, type of things will be there. When you are going with the inductive deductive approach, there is a simulated ICT tool that is FET, that virtual lab. You can select that ICT tools and you can experiment with that. Okay, so when you are going with the jurisprudential inquiry model for the science, you can conduct a group activities. For that group activity and the discussions, you have so many tools. Okay, so each and every pedagogical approaches should be known by the teacher, which will be suitable for their classroom content transaction. That thing should be prepared teacher end. And the next, instructional coaching cycles and the collect data. So yes, I have a thought in my mind. Yes, I have to convey this information. I have to teach this information. So for that, in which process I can go through and what materials I can go through. So that is the third thing. By using and as well as the ICT tools, what digital skills proficiency I'm going to develop in my student. So that is the question. Using tools, it is not a thing. You have to make your students to make use of that tool. That is very much important. And share professional practices. If use of that one digital tools, what exactly we are doing in our colleges. So every time we are using, once we have find out a new tool that we are going to spread with our colleagues. Okay, so the same thing will be there in so many colleges I have observed. Okay, so this is the new idea which I have, how it is working, how it is going to helpful for my student, how it is going to helpful for other subject students. So all these things should be that one inventor to other colleagues. Okay, so that will be helpful to gather the information, and it will be helpful for them to explain many things. Okay, so finally, by arranging all these 5 stages, the teacher has to initiate their according to their classroom teaching cycle. First stage, second stage, third stage, and fourth stage. First stage, what has to be done? Second stage, third stage, and fourth stage. According to that stage wise, the teacher has to give a process for the classroom transaction that related to the teacher. Why we the teacher educators always giving more importance for writing the lesson plan is because of this. Okay, so we always give importance for the lesson plan, and we always give importance for that objectives. So based on that objectives, you have to make use. Okay, so you have to be a more and more digital literate, because you should apply the information what you have learned, and you can use as many. So if you have all these information, we can say that you are digitally literate. Okay, so it is why it is very digital literacy. Why it is very essential? Because you can give a functional skill idea, and you can make the student more and more creative. You can develop the critical thinking, and you can give a culture and social understanding of the content and the collaboration, and then to find the effective communication and e-safety. So why this is very much important? Because we are talking about that MD. Nothing but it is not a managing director. So it is multidisciplinary approach. Multidisciplinary approach. So the one content will always connected with many contents. So one social science content can be connected with the biology, history, what all are the others, mathematics, all the subjects. So as like that, you can provide that culture and social understanding of the content by what? Digital literacy. So that is why the digital literacy and digital pedagogy is very much important. Competency in a digital pedagogy, there is a 3 slots. You should know about the pedagogical competency, you should know the digital competency, and competency. Pedagogic competency means it is directly related to that content, subject knowledge. Okay, and the methods is related to that. When you are going the digital competency, that you should know that the knowledge of digital technology, what tools you can identify, you can use, which is a more and more appropriate tool. So that is the thing. And when you are going with the ethical competency, by using the digital, we are providing that equal opportunity and we are maintaining the equivalency in the classroom, and always it should be a transparent. So that these three major competency, the one digital teacher should always have. Simply knowing the mind map and the concept map, it is not a digital competency. The teacher should have a three major things: the knowledge and the teaching method, the knowledge of the digital tools, and the teacher should know that the managerial skill of the classroom. So all these, if you have, then you are more enough with the digital pedagogical competency. So this is very much important. You should know that. So regarding the digital pedagogy plan, so it is given by Giral Body. Okay, sorry, has given this outline structure. Okay, so that Gizel saying that there is always when you are adopting the digital pedagogy, there is a three. Okay, one is input. So who will be the input here? Who is going to provide the input? Of the teacher. Who is going to provide the inputs?
The teachers, sir.
The teachers are going to provide the inputs by using the different ICT, that is the digital tools. Once they provide the input, then the teacher is expecting what? Output. From whom they are expecting that output? From the students, from the participants. How that output will be? The output giver is the participant through the activities, and finally they are getting with the results. That is the direct products. Okay, so these three modes, points, will be going to define what exactly that output in a digital pedagogy. So once we are at output, what will be the outcome? Okay, output means the learnings. So what the teacher initiated the activity in the classroom, learned one thing. Okay, and they have come with their own answer. That is output. But when we are talking about that outcome, that output leads to the students in the till end of their life. So that we can call it as an outcome. By knowing the content, by writing the answer, that knowledge, how it is going to influence on the students in the future, that we can call it as an outcome. You have to differentiate that output and the outcome. Outcome till the end of that life. Output is for that, we can say that. Okay, the outcome, it may be in the short term outcome, and the immediate outcome, intermediate outcome, and the long term outcome. When the learning happens in the long term outcome, learning has that long term outcome, definitely it is learning. So you should always provide that effective learning opportunity for the students by using a variety of digital technological tools. So this is additional information for you people. So the can use that how we can bring that effective teaching by using the ICT tools. For that, it is going to highlight. We always have a foundation, our teaching foundation, that is Bloom's taxonomy. You know that it is not Bloom's taxonomy, RBT, revised Bloom's taxonomy by Lorian Anderson. Here he is highlighting that creating, evaluating, and analyzing, applying, understanding, and remembering. You know that there is a lower order thinking and there is a higher order thinking. If when you to the classroom, which thinking you are going to give a prominence? Either heart, which thinking you are going to highlight?
So like more like a processor, like from the lower order, we are just gradually will be moving to the higher order thinking, sir. Just again.
Yes. Yes, you have said that process. Yes, first we will start from the remembering. Okay, so from whole 40 minutes, will you restrict yourself to remembering?
No, sir.
No. Okay, so you will add it with the understanding next. Okay, sometime I will go with the remember, go with the understanding. So only these two will be happens in the classroom.
Probably at the end of with the recapitulating of the lesson, we might concentrate on the analyzing part of the students, sir. So
Yes,
that might
you have used recapitalizing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the recapitalizing is nothing but the students applying their previous knowledge, what they have learned as a new knowledge. So when we people are there in a classroom, even though the teacher will always concentrate on all 6 objectives. So here we always give importance for that objective called create in a digital taxonomy. Okay, there in a face-to-face transaction, definitely you are going to ask the students questions and you are getting an answer from the student. So there is a scope for objective in a face-to-face, and here we have a much more scope for that creating, because it is a higher order objective. Set creating objective for your class, definitely it is a higher order class. So digital pedagogy will provide you more for you people to achieve that higher order objective called creating in your regular classroom. So this is a few examples. Okay, so I have said that the creating will be a higher order objective, that the pedagogy will provide you that opportunity to achieve that creating objective. So for the creating objective, here I have mentioned PPT tool. Okay, presentation tool called Prezi. I think you all are listen that word, and I think some of you have also. Is it? So when you come with the Prezi, if you have experience with the Prezi, you can compare that Prezi presentation tools or presentation tool. There is a lots and lots of differences is there. So once the student gain the knowledge related to that content, assign the students to prepare that content, that overall content. The student can prepare that overall content and they can represent that in a different manner. So that is, we can call it as a creating. Okay, and there is a one more, the movie maker is there. Okay, and movie maker is nothing but that creation of the video. Okay, so in that creation of the video, they can use this, some of the small videos and the audios, some of the effects. So there are so many additional informations which make the video effective. So that type of informations will be helpful for the students to create their own idea. So here there is a two things. One, student can create their own idea based on the previous learning. That is the one thing. And the second creating is there is a content can be interpreted in a different way. That is also can called as a creating. For example, you can go with the mathematics. Okay, so when you cross with that formula, that is a plus b whole square, a square plus 2ab plus b square, and based on that you have clear that algebraic equation, something you can say that. Okay, so by using that formula you have completed the sum. Can you say that you can go and create one more formula? Definitely not. Okay, and that time what we will do, we will give some of the example students to apply that knowledge, and we will allow them to interpret in some other way. So that higher order thinking and higher order innovative ideas should be there with the teacher. So somewhere else, all the objectives which we have listed out here. So we are concentrated here. There is a example tools which we can use for each individual objectives, because you know that will always be based on these objectives. Okay, so objective is there, content is there, so you have to blend that objective and with by using a digital tools, okay. So here what we are doing is, so objective is, content is there, the teacher will decide for which objective, for what content, what type of digital tool. Okay, if I am going to achieve that evaluation, definitely I can provide some of the rubrics. Here there is a rubric, the I rubric, and there is a star rubric also. By using this, the student can evaluate the thing. Okay, and you can go with some of the puzzles and Edmodo assessment activities. So that will provide you for to evaluate the situation. Okay, infogar.am. So this is the there are so many types of tools which we can easily identify for the transaction. Definitely it will be helpful for us to include the digital taxonomy. So this is again one more representation. So remembering, it is a factual information, understanding the content, in-depth knowledge. So regarding that, we are going to give see here there is a slide share. So you have a content. So related to that content, you have to provide some more examples. So on that time, you can take that slide share. The slide share, there are so many materials are there. You can collect the materials from there and you can provide it to the students. Okay. So just you can go with the Flickr, that is image selection, and the identification of the image. So like that information you can take and you can do the task. So this is based on the objective. How the objectives will be related to that content, and to transact that content, what type of ICT tools we can use for the classroom. So if I have a higher end mobile phone, that is more and more helpful for us to do the adaptation. So this is the one more information for you. The creating, whatever the blogging will be come under as a creating. Many of you are blogs and filming. You can create your simple and small short films. Then podcast will be there and directing will be there. So task will be come as a digital pedagogy under the creating objective. So next, evaluating, the student can grade the student can test the information, and the student can write their observation, and the student can moderate the situation. Okay, that can be done. That four task will become as a digital pedagogy in evaluating stage. So as like that, so we can provide that so many opportunities and so many things in the adaptation of the digital. So here what you have to concentrate is, so for the each objective, what digital pedagogical idea, right? When you have an application knowledge or application objective, you can go with the analysis. Okay, you can calculating information, or you can go with the charting. Okay, so there is a statistics. So that statistic should be represent that bar chart. So they are applying that, and they can edit. There is a content you can edit and you can upload. So as like so many opportunities for you people to identify the specific activities for that specific activity, specific objective by using a different digital tools. So you have to include the objective, and you have to include the and you have to select the activities, and you have to select the digital tools. If all these four have done by yourself, definitely it is called as digital pedagogy. Otherwise, it is not at all a digital pedagogy. The content, then the object, and the task, the activity, and the digital tools. So if these all four components are there, as what? Digital pedagogy. That is DP. Digital pedagogy. Okay. So organizers, sir, Rajkumar sir.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Can I take?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. So once you have selected the digital, have to follow this. What we have came to know that. So first you have to set the learning objective, and then you have to take a concept. So it is first you will have a concept and content idea. So based on that you are going to set the objectives. Then go with the learning strategy. Strategy will be worked out. Then what materials are the resources you have to provide. So how you are plan for the assessment of these three. Finally, you can say that whether the improvements are there in a student. Okay, so that is the thing. So this is the lesson plan format. You know that how that lesson plan includes, what are the stages that lesson plan includes. So gradually we will say that is the introductory part, then developmental part, then the critical thinking part, and the last is home assignment. This is the formal we are using. But what we are using in situation is, first there will be engaging in the classroom. Engaging the student in the classroom. Engaging means we are engaging the student and the rapport with the student. That is the first stage in the lesson plan. And the second stage, statement of aim, that you know. We are declaring the topic exactly going. Then development of the lesson. So here there will be so many process. Okay. Then we have that is critical thinking. In the critical thinking, we are giving that RF situation. RF means refocusing situation. The student learn one content, the similar or non-similar example we will provide, and we will say that identify this or not, whether it is relevant or not, whether it is similar or not. That type of critical thinking question we are going to ask, and finally we will go with that assignment. In the developmental stage, the assessment will always happen. Okay, this is plan what we are going to know about. This is, we can call it as the evaluation approach of lesson plan. It is evaluation approach of lesson. Now, in all the schools, they are using one more approach, one more model of lesson plan. Can you know which it may be? Everywhere it is ponder over that word. That is which model? That is 5E model. So E means engage, explore, express, and elaborate. All the 5 words: engage, explain, engage, explore, explain, explore. Evaluate. Last one is evaluate. So the 4th stage we have come across, that is the engage, engage, explore, explain, expand, is evaluate. So all these 5 includes lesson plan what we are using at present situation. So now I have one more model for. So when you are going with the practice, so that practice related to that model which I am going to show you is, that is 5E based model digital pedagogy. See, here it is a 3D dimension. Why I am calling it as a 3D dimension? So there is a stage approach of the model of the lesson plan, and here there is a objective. And here I have added some of the DT, that is digital tool. Engaging stage, what teacher will do? The teacher will ask an open-ended question, consider possible response questions, and showing surprising events. So this thing will be happens from the teacher end, and the same response to the teacher situation, the response will be from the student end. Okay, so that we can easily identify, and the engaging will be happen stage of remembering, because we are preparing the students for our class. So on that time, what all are the digital tools you can use? So these are digital tools. Because why I am telling this is exactly the digital pedagogy, because the teacher knows, okay, the teacher know the objective, and the teacher have a freedom to select the digital tools to achieve that objective related to the content. Understanding objective. So here, what are the tasks will be done by the teacher, and the response from the teacher end will be there. Here there is some more digital tools are there. Google will be there, because the Google is a Wikipedias are more and more helpful for the students to gather, collect the deeper understanding of that content. So as like that, the informations will be there. And when we come to the third stage, that is explain stage, what explored in the second stage, that is going to explain in the third stage. So how they are going to explain? They are going to apply the knowledge in context, through that they are explaining. If the teacher provide any one such situation, the student are going to analyze that this is happens. They will reason that. They will list out the reason. So all those analysis will be happens in an explaining stage. The teacher may ask that how you come across. The student will give complete explanation in an elaborated way. So that's why we can say that it is an order. So far, so many tools. Okay, so teaching these tools is only a great task. So that's why just I am providing you a hint. So how you can, what are the tools you can use for the sake of that to achieve the digital pedagogy? You can list out this and you can go and explore it. Okay, because 21st century teachers and students, is it? Okay, so then the expand. In an expand, we can use that survey tools and pool daddy and making. So this is the expand stage, and evaluate in the creating stage, the perceive, voice thread, and the protagonist. So there are Ruby, so workspace. So these are the tools which you can use for that to achieve the creating objective. This is the basic chart always prepared for the digital pedagogy. Okay, so the stage should be there, content should be there, objective should be stated, and function related to the content that has to be done for the digital pedagogy. So now the related, sir.
Praveen sir, yes, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, related to that digital pedagogy, there is a one specific and one structured platform called LMS platform, Learning Management System. So we are managing the learning. Okay, so when the learning happens in the class, what all are the things will be there? So all the activities, quiz, discussion, chartings, okay, and the material analysis, and QA sessions, that question and answer session, and the virtual meetings. So there are so many tasks performed when we are adopting the digital pedagogy. Okay, so the digital pedagogical components are included in 20 LMS platforms. So I think you all are, many of you are familiar with that Moodle and Edmodo. Okay, so Moodle, if you have experience with the Moodle and Edmodo, definitely you can came to know that yes, how it is going to be a replace of that regular class. The students and teachers are participating, involving, interacting, all the things you can go through this type of LMS platform also. So the digital will connect with the LMS platform. This is very much important. This is very much important. In coming days, We, the 21st century teachers and the teachers, should have more and more knowledge about ICT, information and communication technology. Already robotics arrived. Okay, already 3D printing arrived. So there are so many augmented realities are there, artificial intelligence are there. So we are not at all aware about that the improvement and the what we can say, that improvement and as well as the innovations in areas, definitely we cannot go with that. See, live streaming is there. So we are using only Gmeet, Google Meet and the Zoom. There are so live streaming tools are there, because free conference one tool is there, Cisco. I think you know the idea, but you have to search which is more available, because we have to add many students and we have to post the information, we have to connect with the students interaction, and we have to chat, and we have to option. So with all these compatibility, we have to select that virtual streaming tools. So that is called the explorative activity of the. Once you are more explorative, definitely you can go with this, otherwise definitely not. And the ultimate idea of the digital pedagogy is gamification. Okay, so in the gamification, it goes as a like game. So the content will be there, assessment, and the students involving in that assessment session, they will get some of the credits, they will get some of the badges. So by getting, definitely they are going to achieve, because for that one thing, that is GymKit tool is there. Okay, and then Kahoot is there. I think you all with that Kahoot. When you have gained the first place, some scores will be appear and some badges will be appear like that. So if you have provided such type of opportunity for the, definitely it is also a good and effective digital pedagogy what we can adopt in our classroom. So this is the example.
Thank you.
This is what English we use Web 2.0.
Yes.
This is the
Thank
example.
you. Yes. Professor, thank you very much for your presentation. Appreciate, your presentation is a very knowledgeable one. Each and every teacher must be know these the things of the digital, including our pedagogical. So the digital age stage, we are the people's the artificial intelligence is our motto. Peoples are leaving that one. In future also we are the peoples we can involve artificial intelligence. So the correct meaning of the pedagogy is nothing but the art of teaching. It's nothing but the art of teaching. So in the art, what are the things, what are the objects you want? It is an artist, and what are the things you want? If suppose you got in the paint of any other, or you draw any other picture, that you selected which brush is the effective one of the drawing the picture of that one. Because that the same way also, the teacher must be in which evidence, the digital, not only digital, is which the teaching age, technical age. He also get it that the things, and he done it in the classroom situation. So that's why we want to and smart classroom, then virtual and then smart classrooms. These classrooms are involved in this for pedagogical the innovations. So you are correctly pointed. The masters, we prepare. In the lesson plan, we following the Bloom's taxonomy. The Bloom's taxonomy also we constructed our lesson plan. But in plan also we mention in where I show in the instructional aid. So the teacher already prepared what are the things he's teaching, not only in lesson plan, in this teaching also. And how can I maintain my classes in a very knowledgeable question? Ask the thing. The teacher also raised 3 questions. What, where, how? What, where, how? This arises in the mind of your student. That is called in VR says creativity thinking. So the digital also create all the people's knowledge, not only a teacher, the student also. You are a very good presence here also. I am a watch to whole. What are the teacher, not only in the current teacher, in the future also, because the teacher students must be having this type of area. I appreciate, I thank your presentation here, on behalf of Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University. I congratulate for your presentation, Praveen sir. So
Thank you.
you are very energetic because you are very young, but you learn more and more things, So anyhow, in the future, not only in Karnataka, not only in your state, your name is established in the world also. I once again thank all of you members. Those who are the people interested, no people are left from this session, all the people are listening and then got it. Peoples are a teacher, otherwise assistant professors. And some of the scholar also. The scholar also already joined some other colleges that the peoples are conducting, that the peoples are doing the PhD work. So, Vijaya says, it is a wonderful session. It is the feedback, or else the student must be know what are the things are we use, the digitalized, because we are the digitalized person in a future way. What the digital intelligence, the flipped learning, blended learning. This all is the side by side. So I thank you once again. This committee of the Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, then Saurashtra College of Education, then Tyagarajar College of Perspectives. These three are collaboration, and the people, the Rajkumar also correctly pointed out, and the cat really very big, because you cover all these things in whatever teach to the throughout the year. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for me.
Thank you, sir.
Just I share my ideas with you. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you very much,
Sir,
Professor.
thank you, sir.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Amali Prabha, Assistant Professor, Tyagarajar College of Preceptors, to give a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. As all the end in so is the seminar. On behalf of Tyagaraja College of Preceptors, I take this opportunity to thank the Department of Sciences, Teacher Education University, along with Saurashtra College of Education and Tyagaraja College of Preceptors for organized seminar on digital innovation. At the outset, I thank our resource person, Dr. Praveen Kumar, Assistant Professor, Vijaya Teachers, Bengaluru, for bringing up ideas about the digital pedagogy. We really learned many new things about how to implement and digital pedagogy in our regular classroom very effectively. Thank you, sir, and thank you for enlightening us with your knowledge and presence. Thank Professor Ganesan, Head Department of Pedagogical Sciences, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, Chennai, for making this virtual seminar successful. Also, I thank Panjanathan, Professor N. Panjanathan, Vice Chancellor, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, Chennai, for engagement. I would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. S. Prakash, Principal, Tyagaraja College of Preceptor, Madurai, for his tremendous throughout the seminar. A special thanks to all the participants and faculty members. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Praveen Kumar,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
So last thing I want to say that thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you so much for the patience of listening, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a very good, very effective presentation, sir. And participants are posted.
Thank you, Rajkumar.
Thank you, sir.
No. Yes. Persons are well to be knowledge. That the people are gathered in well through knowledge. He share his idea because of your persons. We observe how can we interpret that the idea in our classroom. Okay, thank you. This is the great of Rajkumar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
all.
you, Professor. Thank you, sir, for your Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Sir, it's my duty and responsibility, sir.
Very good, very good. உண்மையிலேயே ஒரு பாராட்டக்கூடிய ஒன்று. அது வந்து
Thank you,
ராஜ்குமார்
sir.
resource.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
very good. You know,
My special thanks, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir, you were.
Days of our principal was there, Prakash. You know,
Sir.
you are
Yes.
the man is there.
Yes, sir.
And then, you know, Amila, you know, Amila, you man. So it's not the productive, collective work,
Yes, sir.
and then interesting to that people. So it is a very practice of that day. Thank you. Tomorrow we will meet again. Okay?
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, Professor. Thank you,
Praveen Kumar.
thank you.
On behalf of
Thank you. Thank you.
management, faculty members, and student teachers of Pedagogical College of Prasadta, I once again extend my heartfelt to Mr. Dr. Praveen Kumar, Assistant Professor, Vijaya Teachers College, Bangalore. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Selvakumar. Selvakumar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. சாரு தான் தேங்க்யூ சொல்லணும். சார் எத்தனை மணிக்கு காலையில வந்தீங்கன்னு
ஆமா, உங்க வராங்களே எப்படி நம்ம
And dear participants, we have a sixth day session, and tomorrow the resource person is Dr. Vikas Patnaker. The topic is OER and MOOCs and the techno-pedagogical perspectives. Thank you all. So we will meet on tomorrow 10:30 a.m. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very, very wonderful session, sir, today.